That's what happens behind the scenes, folks. You think it's all easy. Behind the scenes.
That was wonderful.
Oh shit! I can't turn it off. How did I do?
That was awesome. I love that.
Much better than Pat Dalpiaz.
That interpretive dance was amazing. That interpretive dance.
He's awesome.
He's our Foley artist.
He's our Foley
Speaking
artist.
of Dancing with the Stars, Christy Brinkley is on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was. I still have a poster of her in my bedroom. Serious. She was one of my favorites growing up.
James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek too.
Yes. Oh, really?
I'm excited about him. Yeah.
I'm excited about Christy.
James, he's the one with the big square head.
Yeah, Dawson. But he's really, he does really interesting. He does interesting projects. Like he doesn't just do like your normal kind of, soap opera team. He does really interesting things. So
let me see. Kate's blowing me up. So anyway, I want to mention it's GloucesterCast 356 with Chris McCarthy, Charleen Delaney, Ken Reihl, Heidi Dallin, Kim Smith. Bev Lowe is here. And we have other people coming for you, Ken?
Nope, we are at capacity.
I'm rocking with Ken.
we have Lindsay Crouse coming.
Lindsay Crouse.
Derek Speedy, two of the stars of Lifespan of a Fact. And you saw it last night.
Riveted.
Wow.
Yes, I know. She went last night.
I met Derek earlier this summer
because
he had a Williamstown Theater show, and we got in a little conversation, and he had a script, and he was like, I'm in reading. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw him last night. He was fantastic.
All right.
I think we could have Bev Lowe on.
Bev
Lowe, we have to get the contract for Bev Lowe so she can be on
I'm
here.
in on the pulse. I work for Harbor Tours in the summer and Liquor Locker 10 hours a week, so I see everything.
And on the board of?
And I'm on the Cape Ann Community
Foundation. Very good, Bev. Thank you for that.
And my day job I have,
This is awesome.
You've got a day job?
Manchester Essex Regional High School District, yes.
Wow. That's a lot on your plate.
Wow. I like to stay busy.
Yeah. So the chamber, the low license plate number auction when's the last day of that? Of this round or whatever?
September the 9th, 10 p.m.
Which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So you can still as of yesterday, a lot of people have been writing in asking. And the 69 is still available.
That is the number.
And it's a good value because it's only $1,000 for 69.
That's right.
Correct.
66 is $2,500.
Generally, they cost more.
I'm telling you, it's a good value. So there's that out there. There's a lot of good numbers still available.
Yes.
There are over 65 low numbers still available.
Yes.
So I love Cape Ann.
LoveCapeAnn.com.
LoveCapeAnn.com.
This is a sample of the plate.
No, that's mine.
Is this your plate?
Yeah, that's my plate. I took it off the car.
Quadruple zeros?
Quadruple zero.
Wow, nice.
Robert Parrish times 2.
And I even have on my T-shirt today. So
Hey, it's a family show. Jesus Christ.
Rock crowd.
I didn't wet my T-shirt.
There we go, Charleen.
I didn't know it was that kind of party.
This is a family show.
I love the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you,
Awesome
Chris.
Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I go all the way for the wedding.
We'll do a lot. That is for sure. That's why we're here Sunday morning. Promoting a plate. Where else would we rather be? Really?
Don't you think with auctions though, that last 24 hours is when people kind of get
That's when it
that
builds
push?
up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
It's true.
Definitely.
It's true.
Right.
I think it's so the money. We'll just go quickly over
I'm
where the
pleased-
money
I'm
goes.
so pleased you asked. So just as a reminder, the plate's managed by the Cape Ann Community Foundation, not the Chamber. Has a separate board of directors, has a separate bank account. The money goes to Cape Ann nonprofits and schools. And so the foundation made an award to Manchester Essex last year. The foundation made an award to Rockport schools this year. Mm-hmm. The foundation has given out almost $40,000 of license plate proceeds back to Cape Ann nonprofits and schools just over the last 3 years.
This is the gift that keeps on
The more plates we put on the road, the more money there is to give back.
Every
Exactly
2
right.
years, we get $40 from every plate on the road.
Pretty easy
That's
way
awesome.
to give back to your community. It's what I call low impact in terms of the time you need to spend on it. You know?
Yeah.
Just
And we love the design. You know, the design represents the 4 Cape Ann communities. It's colorful, it's bright. We have CA on the plate, which is a lot of fun.
Cape Ann. Yeah,
And
I think it's a great gift.
When you see them on the road, you can recognize them right away.
Right.
It's really
I
When you're-
typically let people go in traffic that have one. Yeah.
Well, I give them the thumbs up every morning as I go down the highway. But for
That's
everyone
right.
that has one.
And it's fun to see more and more every day.
More and more
And
every
it's also
day.
fun to really see them off of Cape Ann.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
you're like in Danvers
Yep.
or you're in another state
Yeah.
and
I know.
you're on, heaven forbid, you're on Cape Cod and you see a Cape Ann plate. That's the
Yeah.
best.
That's like
No, I-
Yankees
the
Red
best.
Sox rivalry, you know?
No, it is pretty great.
One thing that you have to understand is that the Cape and the Islands plate is the oldest plate going, and they get back about $1 million
Yeah.
a year to give away.
Wow.
Look what we could do here if
Yeah.
we just get some plates on the road.
Some more
And
plates on
it's
the road. We have a lot on the
more
road
plates.
already.
We have a lot on the road, but what we need to do is double the amount we have on the road, and we can give out double the amount of money.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that money that you spend to bid on the plate, is that tax deductible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it is tax deductible.
So come on, folks.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
Joe?
tax deductible, and you
Tax
can
deductible.
deduct that $40 every 2 years.
We have a link in the show notes
Nice.
so you can go directly to there. And,
LoveCapeAnn.com goes to the website and there's a button there that goes to the online auction.
Yes, bidding
Yeah.
for good.
And then if
And
you don't
it's-
want to spend the minimum, and the minimums are kind of high, they're $1,000 minimums, then just get a
For the
regular
low-
plate.
for the
Just
low
the
number.
numbers.
For the low
For the
number.
low
Yeah.
numbers.
For the low
Yeah.
numbers.
But as Charleen said, the regular plates are $40 every other year. It's $20 a year.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
and it's
I love seeing the plates on the road.
and it's fun to see the plates on the road, and it's fun to have people. Yesterday, Sue Barker, who's the photographer, she put on Facebook, I got my Cape Ann plate, and I've been after her to get a Cape Ann plate for a while. And, you know, then you say thank you for supporting this community.
There you go.
This is a great community.
So
and
when you say like low numbers, you mean just like any 4-digit?
no.
No, good question, Kim. It's numbers from what was 1 to 100, but we sold off about 30 of those plates last year. So number 1 was actually sold. So
Okay.
now they start at number 2. That's the reason that our graphic has a number 2 on it.
Okay.
Yep. So it's 2 to 100. Plate number 100 is still available, and a lot of them in between.
But those are
including
the
Joey's
those are
favorite
the
number.
auction ones.
Yes, those are the auction ones.
But I mean, for like just the regular everyday numbers.
Yes,
Oh,
you.
yes.
It's just a random.
Correct.
It's a random drawing. All the
Oh, okay.
registries in the state of Massachusetts have Cape Ann plates.
Okay.
So when you go online and order a plate, the registry just randomly selects
Selects a
a
number
place
for
for
you.
you
Okay.
to send,
Okay.
and you get your number right away. They
Okay.
tell you your number in the printout at the end
Okay.
right away.
All right.
He can talk. Who's this, Heidi? Who's coming
This
in?
is Derek Speedy.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Derek, welcome. Welcome to Good Morning Gloucester.
Welcome. Come
Thank
on
you.
in, buddy.
Happy to be here.
Derek, you're on
Yeah.
You're
Facebook
live.
Live.
Just as a heads up.
Yeah,
So
Facebook
now the
Live.
world knows you're late.
Good.
No, he's not
I
late.
was
Oh,
told
not late.
9:30.
Oh,
No, he's
5
good.
minutes
Now
early.
the world knows you're early.
Your parents watching?
I know.
No.
You should. Everybody right now should get on their phone and say get on the Facebook thing so they could see.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do that.
I
right
told you in
here.
advance, Speedy. You
I
didn't
know.
listen
I
to me.
know.
Yeah.
I've been sick the last 3 days.
Oh God.
Have you been acting through the
Yeah.
sicknesses?
I've been putting cold ease and water bottles throughout the set. There's a part where I am, not to spoil anything, but I'm locked in a closet, and I asked if I could have
That spoils everything.
everything's ruined. And I have a nasal spray, chloroseptic, and a water bottle in there.
In the
In
closet.
there, just to
Get
my
through.
for my 1.5 minute reprieve off stage.
He's been deeply depressed because
Sounds like
last week all the writers came and I didn't from Lifespan and I didn't invite the actors and he's been crying ever since. Why can't I go? I heard
We had a
about
lot
it.
of fun.
I was told this is what I should be looking forward to as an actor at Gloucester Stage Company. I get to do Good Morning Gloucester, and I find out that the writers who are in for 1 week, they show up and they get to have all the fun. So I'm happy
And
to
now
be
this
here.
is your week, Speedy. So.
Exactly. Happy to be
Can
here.
I just say, I was at the show last night, and you are phenomenal.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
was,
very much.
Right
She
on
said
the
that
side.
before you were
I
here,
did.
too.
Oh.
Just so you
said
know.
that to Heidi.
She didn't
It's
even.
not- it's
She
not-
didn't even know you were going to be here. She said.
I did.
She
I-
mentioned you.
I said that to Heidi. Also, we met earlier in the summer. I don't expect you to remember. You came in and purchased some adult beverages at the liquor lot.
I do
and
remember
we talked
this.
because you had
Oh,
a Williamstown.
really?
You had a
Please.
Williamstown Theater Festival
you'll be
T-shirt
careful.
I'm
on.
sure I almost wore
How many
today.
times people
And
come
I
in
said,
the liquor
we
lot?
chatted up a bit, and you said,
Small
yeah, I'm
world
in
stuff.
town for Gloucester Stage.
It's a
I
small
remember.
world.
I bought a
Can't do
Gruner,
anything right.
a Gruner wine from Austria.
There you
I
go.
remember very well.
Pat Delpiez said that she enjoyed the show as well. I don't know when she went, but
She was here. I saw. Yes, she was this weekend or.
It's too bad that Pat and Jimmy out here to man the camera there back there. See if
know.
there's any
well,
any
there's
comments.
some people who know my
Thank you.
number that are
And I was wondering about if the head cold was part of the.
So Ken, what other business do we have with the chamber?
Just quickly, I'm glad you asked, Joey. So this Wednesday, you know where we're going to be?
Where are we gonna be this Wednesday?
We're going to be at Gloucester Stage.
Whoa!
Gloucester Stage. For a
Hey-o.
networking event followed by a show.
Yeah.
And we are offering discounted price tickets, which we are thrilled about, to all of our members and anybody else who signs up with us online at capechamber.com.
And there's a little
So-
reception before, right?
Yep, that's our networking event.
Yep,
So that
our-
starts at 5, and the show starts at 6:30?
7:30.
7:30, okay.
Forget dinner in a show, network in a show.
There you go.
show, that's right.
Yeah,
Well,
we-
and the show is 90 minutes, no intermission. It goes right. And Lindsay
And
Crouse.
you start at 9.
That's what I said. That's what I said
No,
too.
no.
The world
We're
knows
taking-
this.
Still,
How's it going?
You're early.
Lindsay's here.
Lindsay.
You're on Facebook Live, Lindsay. Everyone
Yeah,
knows
don't
your name.
swear. Like you
Everyone knows
normally,
your name.
you have to wash out your mouth with soap. We got
Yeah, we
we're
got-
taping right now, so we have to be careful.
No, even better. We got herring. We got herring juice.
Herring juices.
Herring
Yeah, we
juice.
were talking about the Cape Ann license plate prior to this. So.
Oh.
And a little bit about your show,
you too
actually.
could have one if your car is registered in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna
Truly
say
love Cape Ann.
is my parents came up for the week, and they absolutely fell in love with the town. They're like,
Oh, that's
Right.
yeah, we could move here. And I was like, they don't want you. Say, unless your parents were born here, they don't want you.
No, that's
Oh,
cool.
God.
I moved
He
here
moved
2 years
here.
ago, and my
Yeah.
parents.
And we let you in here.
And they let me in.
Eric, I
They
left
let
in
me in.
1988
I can't get
for
out,
grad school
but they
and
let
just
me in.
moved back in 2014 because I missed it so much.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
27 years away. Yeah.
Where do your parents come from?
amazing. We hail from the great state of New Jersey.
Oh.
Yankees fan?
You couldn't
Interesting.
smell that on me on the way in?
Yankees
Oh.
fan?
You've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Which part did you fit in?
The Northwest area, so Morris County area.
Mhm.
Are you a Yankees fan?
No, I'm a Sox fan actually.
Really?
All
All
I
right.
am.
All right. You can
White,
stay.
White Sox.
Grew up a Tigers fan because my dad's from Detroit.
All right.
Oh, cool.
We'll
But
allow that.
then they got rid of Curtis Granderson, and I didn't really care.
There you go.
So I went to school at Harvard, just like Jim
Nice.
Fingal in the show.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I went to Fenway for 4 years, and I loved it. And I
Nice.
think there's
Awesome.
no better stadium.
There are a lot of college
Absolutely.
converts. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Nice.
Anything
Two
else?
things quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
One, our big game. As you
Oh.
just purchased a ticket, Joey, $25,000 going to be given away on October 3rd. The tickets are going fast. $100 admits 2 to the Gloucester House for a light dinner. And the best odds on Cape Ann.
Yep.
$10,000 top prize. There are 11 other chances to win a different cash denomination, and we only sell 500 tickets.
It's a good.
It's a,
That's-
it is a
that's a really
fun
fantastic.
event, right.
If you took it
nice-
just on the basis of the food, you're like the ticket price gets cut in half.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fun night.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll mention is our business women. We have a very strong business women's group, and every year our big event is a fall luncheon. And this year, that fall luncheon features none other than Lindsay.
Oh,
wow! She's
Oh, wow, now this is crazy.
Can you
Holy,
believe
what's
that?
going on here?
What
What is
segue.
going on here?
There's cross pollination.
Passing it over to you.
And we are thrilled. We're thrilled, Lindsay, to have you speak at that lunch. It's really going to be a wonderful luncheon.
See,
That's it's a
proves
Beauport
there's no
hotel.
separation.
Yeah. We don't need Kevin Bacon. We can do degrees of separation from Lindsay Crouse. So I was telling my friend Chris, we went to high school together. I was telling him about one of my favorite movies of all times that a lot of people now may not have seen, but you know what? Do you know the movie that I'm talking about? Because I told you this before.
You talking about Slapshot?
No, House of Games. House of Games. House of Games, and I was showing him some clips.
But first he said House of Cards.
I did. I made a
I'm like,
mistake.
House of Cards? Really?
I made a mistake. No, but that's if
Another show.
that is a movie. That is a movie. If you haven't seen it, and you could probably rent it on Google Play or wherever. I guarantee you can see it. It is awesome. I love that show. I love that movie. Somebody here? I gotta go see it. So okay. So Craig, do you have any more?
Done.
You're done. Okay. Are you gonna hang? You're welcome to hang out. You gonna hang out?
Probably going to go unless you want me to stay. For some
It's totally up to you because I know you're a busy guy.
I know all about the same thing.
Picture? Okay.
And I have to party now, so.
Oh no, stay for the picture. You have to just wait till you get a
Oh, we
picture.
have to get a picture with our
right.
plate and all.
Oh, and we're still recording? Did he shut off the recording?
No, we're still recording.
No, how about
Everyone gets to watch it
recording?
shuffles.
All right, folks, hang on.
Terrific show.
Joe,
Come on over, guys.
Joe has a
Front row.
Joe has a lobster boat.
Oh, it was awesome.
Lindsay, right
Joe
there,
has a
back,
lobster
back
boat
here.
out in.
Chris, you want to get a
Yeah,
picture?
right here.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking off. I'm
Pretending
taking
he's
Joe's.
Joey.
I'd like to hold on to something, but that's okay. Hold on.
Where's the headset?
Absolutely.
Where's the headset he usually wears?
Little Speedy.
Be patient, folks. I'm sorry. Kim, I'm over here, Kim.
Can you get lean in?
Come on. What's the matter with you?
Kim,
What
you,
else is here too?
Joe, we're still recording here. Come on.
Hey, it's
Dead space.
Excuse me for one second.
Joe,
Come on in.
you can stay there, Joe.
Joe, wait, you need a picture.
I'll be in the picture.
Chris wants to sit on your lap.
Sit
A nice
Come
ass
on,
he's
Santa
got right
Claus.
there. Go over here, big sexy.
Oh, you're gonna lean in.
Oh, you lean in?
Wow,
Yeah.
you're getting everybody? That's amazing.
That's right in front of my face.
Oh, sorry. This is for AB coming to the Patriots.
Oh, dear.
Tom Brady's new friend. Tom Brady's new friend.
Good job, everyone.
Good job.
All right, everybody take their places.
And cheers to.
Lindsay, you can move right there. Move right there.
Joey,
Me last night.
really good to see you.
Hey, honey, how are you?
Fantastic.
Huh?
Great.
I look fat. You can say it. Bald and fat. Bald, fat, and stupid is no way to go through life.
Look healthy, full of summer in your face.
I have to tell you, I'm having a hell of a summer. We're having a great summer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in for
I have no idea. You probably won't take it.
Everybody needs to get sit down.
Okay, guys.
Thank you for coming. Have Lindsay sit right here.
Lindsay's going right there.
Lindsay's going right there.
We're gonna show Chris McCarthy. And you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Your glasses.
Is that your phone?
Glasses, my phone.
Bye, guys.
Oh my
Thanks for
God.
coming, Kevin.
Chaos.
That was awesome.
Chaos.
Nancy, nice to meet you.
Sorry to interrupt you 6 times.
It's going to be that Wednesday night to see you.
All right, let's see if I'm gonna go. I think I'll be able to see if there's any.
Thanks for being at the show.
Hi, Joe.
We'll see you guys.
Bye, Kim.
Thanks for coming, Bev.
Bye, Chris.
That would be great if you.
Hi, nice meeting you.
I have a little cough or something like
All I have to do is
2
go.
days to rest my throat.
Yeah, right.
I'll still find
Okay, that's all right.
We got 9
I'll
viewers.
still find a way.
All right, everybody has to take their seats.
Let's go.
Take your seats, please.
Go to the Good Morning Boston Facebook feed. Don't-
How are
You know
ya?
what? I wouldn't even do it only because if you
How's
put
it
it
going?
on
Are
and
you
there's
in
audio, it
person?
may conflict with that.
Okay, well, I can
Bob, sit down, buddy.
I'm probably checking early, so.
That's okay. Because we're taping right now. That's why I don't want to lose the momentum.
Viewing public.
The viewing public.
Good to see you too.
All right, here we go. We're talking about
Lifespan.
No, it's not lifespan of a fact. It's the lifespan of a fact. I was corrected several times last week.
Listen, I was so happy when you said that I was on you for that last week because, yeah.
It's a thing.
Well, yeah, because the playwrights were,
adamant about it.
They were on me. So they saw
it's not lifespan of a fact.
They
it's
saw
the
a
lifespan
reporter
of a fact.
write something down that just said lifespan, and they were like, "Can you please get back in touch with her and tell her it's the lifespan of a
with
fact?"
With a capital T. Yeah. With a capital T.
So I was happy. They knew I was on it. Thank you, Joey. That was good.
Yeah. Lindsay's here. Bob's here, but we didn't introduce them earlier.
You got there.
No, we already talked to him. He's been
here
here
early.
He's
here at 9 o'clock.
Don't you know that this is this is what
I said 9:30.
Thank you.
Yes. If you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're 5 minutes late, don't bother coming. You're done.
Well, can
That's
we
your
also
father said that?
say the fact that Speedy can
like
walk
that.
here because he's living down the street. So.
That's true.
Not a bad spot.
I didn't walk here. I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to park. If somebody watched it, it was really embarrassing.
Just so you know, none of you are late. Like oftentimes we start the chamber or that group at 9. So then, if you come at 9:30, then you're right on time. So don't worry.
Like to give the actors a chance to sleep
don't
in.
Don't let them off the hook. We like to make them feel
fear.
like they,
Fear.
The angel and the devil. The angel and the devil.
So let's talk.
Let's talk.
Okay.
How long
Give us
into
some
the
facts.
how long into the run are we?
We close September 22nd.
September 22nd.
So we still have a couple more weeks to go.
Yeah.
Some would say 2.
Really? Really? Yes.
He's the fact checker.
Yes.
Fact checker.
So,
Fingal.
he's going to get it right today.
Yeah,
I like that.
Tell me why you're doing it.
Why am I doing
This
it?
is my favorite question because I know you can do whatever you want to do. So why did you want to do this?
Well, I love doing plays that have really something to say, something to offer, and something to chew on for an audience. Maybe that challenge an audience. This play challenges me, so I think it definitely challenges an audience. I mean, it's really looking at something that we ought to think about, which is, what is the truth? Because honestly, in an age of the internet, I dealt with this with my own children, having to sit them down and teach them what is a good source. How do you know a trusted source, even? The amount of information that's coming at us, how to sort through it. And then the difference between a poetic truth, we say truth has a ring because you can't really define it. It's something that resonates with you. So, a fact is something that perhaps you can ground, you can get that balloon down a little bit more easily. But the debate between facts and truth, as if they can be separated, as if they aren't entangled with each other, it's a very, very interesting subject. And it's the subject of the play. And then, of course, there are people involved, these 3 people who are struggling, an editor, a writer, and a fact checker. And the play has a sandpaper effect on people because there is no hard and fast answer, and people enjoy it. They feel slightly upset by it, or thrown off kilter by it. But they think everybody's very engaged when they see it.
That's what they're saying is that when some of the writers when they were there. When their favorite thing was when people were walking out, they're all talking amongst each other about trying to make sense of it for themselves. So and some of the best movies you ever see when you're walking out of the movie, same type of thing, right? Everybody's talking like they're engaged.
Right.
That it hasn't left them immediately.
Right.
It isn't just some piece of candy that they
So that's why I wanted to do it. Yeah, and Bob was really great because we held out for a couple of months to get the rights, and I know Bob was probably
felt like
I know
eternity.
years. Yeah, I know I was probably biting his fingernails, but I'm very grateful that we're doing it.
That's great.
And where did you come from?
That's a good question.
And who are you again?
That's a great question. I was working in a restaurant in the city, and I opened my email, and it said, I'm not going to say the name, but blank recommended you, which was one of my professors from school. And I was like, who's Sam Wiseman? And I open it, and he goes, hi, I'm doing The Lifespan of a Fact. We'd like you to audition. And he's like, would you send in a video? Which is always awful.
Tough medium.
Tough medium to, like, say, like, hey, I can act.
Auditions are bad enough, but when you did, yeah.
So he was very kind. He said, have the weekend. This was, like, Thursday or Wednesday. But I was going home that weekend, and I was like, okay, I need a friend to help me film this in the city on Friday. So I have 2 days, and there's this huge... So he asked me to give 7 pages of the script, which is a lot for a side. And one whole page is just a monologue. And I was like, okay, I gotta memorize this really, really quickly. And I was kind of put on a time crunch, and I got a call, and they said, come join us.
Wow.
So,
Well, what percentage of the decision to have you in there was the fact that the character was a Harvard guy and you were a Harvard guy?
I don't know. Well, it's funny. I called. Sam said this in one of our talkbacks. I called Sam like after I was cast, and I said, you know, what do you need me to do before I show up in August? He said, just memorize the script and show up. You're this character. You're fine.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I said, I don't know how to take that.
Yeah. Based on the character.
Well, there's this little thing called typecasting.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So happily, Derek certainly fits what you might think of as prerequisites for the character, but bottom line, you can't be tempted or lured in by visuals. You really have to go with the acting. Mm-hmm. And he's not kidding around. Video, to watch an audition on video for theater, certainly it happens in film all the time, but they're different animals in a way. So to really nail a theater audition on video, and Sam and I were just laughing. We were sitting there watching this thing. It was hysterical. So nice work.
Speaking of auditions, so you sit there and handle all the auditions, or is there?
Yeah, so I set up the entire season, and the directors join me, and so we may do some pre-casting.
Yeah.
Right. So Sam knew that he wanted Lindsay to play Emily, and then other times we may bring in a few, or go to New York and see a few people, but predominantly we're working off the Boston pool.
Okay.
And so we hold auditions both in Boston and here in Gloucester.
So now I'm curious, what criteria you use to select a cast?
Basically, you're just working off the script, and oftentimes the playwright has actually given you a description of each character, either in sensibility or age or background, any of that kind of thing. So you've already got this roadmap in a way.
Okay.
But then you have this idea of who may or may not.
And does it come down to sometimes 2 or 3 people that could do or play the role?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you ultimately make the decision?
Well, for me, I leave it to the director who's directing the show.
So it's really the director that makes it.
Unless he's directing the show.
I may lean in and influence a little bit, just because I have maybe the actor better or one thing or another. But no, it's got to be the director, because it's the director's vision that matters.
That's true. Right?
And I've hired the director because I have faith in him.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then they have faith in the actors who they're hiring. So if you cast it right, like Bruce says, you stand back and let it all be.
That's good to know.
I see.
Great question.
I think Chris is also interested if you ever cast locally, or were you interested in that,
like
Chris?
if you need someone to just sit in a chair on the stage.
Hey, I was a tree in one of Lindsay's productions.
Jared Tree from the right.
Joey and Lindsay have worked together on stage.
Yeah.
Yes. I worked with an Academy Award nominee.
Was it the tree that the dog came out and peed on?
No pee.
He had his boots on. It was all right.
No, actually, my daughters. Both of my daughters, too.
Children.
We worked together. Me and Lindsay worked together.
Lindsay and Joey worked together.
Third tree from the left. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I cut my chops with Lindsay Crouse. I did.
Well, something that's interesting about this play, since we're the first theater to produce it in the world, that only
since Broadway,
after New York,
after New York, but we're the only regional theater to produce it.
Yeah,
So nowhere else it's been on Broadway. That only there's only been one other person that has played the roles that they're playing. So you still have some. You can really kind of make it your own.
Yeah, you're molding it.
Yeah.
And neither of us saw the show in New York either, so that was cool. And I mean,
That's really cool.
I kind of went off of like, I did in my head say like, okay, I've seen Daniel Radcliffe in many movies.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe played
Jim.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I had an idea of maybe what he might have done, but I luckily didn't see the show, so I wasn't trying to copy anything, and it really was just me trying to figure out the role on my own. But I understood they originally cast this person, and I've seen this person do a lot of movies, and I've seen him be this kind of quirky, inattentive character. So I have an idea of maybe what the feel of the show is based on what the first iteration of it was, and then I could from there mold it into my own, and then in rehearsals going off of whatever Lindsay or Mickey do in the show, or what Sam wants out of a moment. So.
I see you have a Head of the Child's shirt on.
Yes, I did not row.
And you went to... No, I wasn't going to ask this, that.
You couldn't tell.
Well, no, it's only because you're probably half my age, maybe two-thirds of my age. But back in the day, when the Head of the Charles was a lot crazier. You probably don't. They used to let you drink on all the colleges
on the banks
of the Charles had tents.
Oh no, that still happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they let them do it.
Oh yeah.
Because in the 90s they cracked down on it a little bit from what the way it used to be.
Yeah, because the first half of the 90s did a number on that.
Yeah, we just went off. But the big crowd still show up for it?
Who?
The big crowd show up for the Head of the Charles?
Yeah. It's an
Especially
awful
if the
weekend
weather's
to
good.
have a show. I'm usually a good friend of mine is usually a rower and an actor, and so he can't do like any shows for the first half of the year because it's always a lot of shows happen during Head of Charles.
Head of Charles used to be like it used to be like the marathon was like a huge weekend, like great weekend, and that's in the spring, and then the fall for college kids. Head of the Charles. It was just
my former company sponsored it. Charles is in the name of the company I used to work for, and they had a big corporate tent, so I got the opportunity to go a couple times.
They had the best swag.
Yeah,
the swag tent was awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Hence the shirt.
I mean, rowing's cool.
There is one thing I actually wanted to add to what Lindsay said earlier about the show.
Oh, back to the show.
Is there a show?
Show.
Get back to the facts.
I love, shows that make you think, and I always was interested in shows that don't try to give you answers, but ask the right questions. And I think there's a lot of answers that are brought up in this show that you could pick and choose from, but there's no definitive answer, and it really does just ask the right questions throughout the show. And I think that's why people are leaving, asking, and arguing.
Wait a minute, they're not leaving.
Leaving at the end.
Leaving
At the end of the show.
At the end of the 85-minute show, no intermission, first run since Broadway.
And we had talkbacks last weekend when the playwrights were here, the authors, but now we have talkbacks with the actors. So you can ask the actors any questions
When
that you would like.
When is the next
It's
one?
after the Sunday performances. So there'll be one today after the Sunday show, and then next week after the Sunday show. And you don't have to come and see the show to, at that particular performance. You can come anytime during the run and just show up at 3:30, 3:45. Yeah, and come in. The talkbacks are free.
Okay.
And anybody, so if you...
Yeah, their talkbacks are wonderful. They're
Yeah.
super fun. It's really interesting. I love them.
So if you come with the chamber group on Wednesday and you're interested, then
Just
come
come
back
back.
Sunday. Yeah.
And it's fun. People have some strong opinions at the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
People
And
have
it's-
strong
Yeah.
opinions.
and not
Yeah.
afraid to voice it, and it's really.
Yeah.
And then some audience members are like, "I disagree. I
Yeah.
think it's 100% the other thing." It was really.
That should be a show in its.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
strong, very strong opinions
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to
In
see
the
Yeah.
show particular.
for people with
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually haven't seen talkback like that for a while.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the political climate
Yeah.
that we're.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the last one I
Yeah.
remember was
Yeah.
when we did Hillary and Monica, and
Yeah.
I was on the phone line,
Ooh.
and we do the talkbacks afterwards, and I was like defending Hillary Clinton because I played her, and everybody was giving me, and I got like flashbacks from the talkback last weekend. I was like, oh my god,
Here we go.
yeah, I was like, this reminds me of that. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's really interesting playing it for those reasons. I found it very difficult along the way through rehearsal, finding the through line which you have to find in a character to play from beginning to end, because the very first scenes for me feel quite different for me. Very sure of myself. I feel I know what I'm doing. I'm very in control. I'm taking command over him as my fact checker, etc. And then kind of all hell breaks loose and it all falls apart for me. So to find how to carry that person through who has really lost her grounding, I'm still this week we've had wonderful audiences, really involved and supportive audiences, and that has given me a lot of courage to keep going with what I'm thinking is the right way to pull this person all the way through the play. So one of the things that I really love about this theater, all hail to Bob here and Heidi and the people who run it. It's different from doing a play in a highly commercial theater. We have less time to rehearse a play, so a lot of that's not because of anything other than we just don't have the money to pay everybody for rehearsal. It's hard to find rehearsal space and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But it means that you're growing a part and you're growing a play in the presence of your audience. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that sounds very creative. Like
it is. It's a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
Like improv.
I'm particularly vulnerable that way.
Yeah.
But I love.
like improv only insofar as there are nuances.
It's
each
not.
time.
It's not improv. No.
but it's-
Improv means that everything's from scratch.
Right.
You have your
Like
script.
script.
You have your
Right.
direction, but you're making choices, and they're either going to get bolder, or you're going to decide, no, maybe it's better to go a little this way, a little that way.
But those choices that you speak of, are those in the script or?
They're the script is like a skeleton for an actor.
Okay.
That how you fill it out, how you live in it, involves choices, and the choices involve degree of how strong you are, how soft you are, how sympathetic you are, how in charge you are, whatever. And that gets informed a lot by an audience's responses. And you can feel it then in a way you never feel it in rehearsal. Wow, that was a little slow. That seemed to drag.
Yeah.
Boy, we need to really push it there. We need to move. We need to pick up our cues. This is a place where we can absolutely take our time. We can lay back. Let this happen. This is all like music that we're uncovering in the early process of the play. So for me, the great challenge, the devastating challenge sometimes, is that we are actually doing that at the Gloucester stage, and we have such a wonderful community audience that hold us in that process.
Very smart.
I was driving
love
by.
it.
I was driving by when one of the shows was just about people filing in, and I see a lot. I see the well-heeled patrons that show up, and I see them often. Like, you have a following. There's people that that love to support this space. And they turn out, and I think it's because if you've gone there, then you realize how special it is for us to have this right here, not in Hamilton, not in Topsfield, not just about anywhere else north of Boston. You have a space like this, and the caliber of actors that choose to come here and perform is just.
I'm a newbie here too.
And
so.
also there's community night too, which is everybody in the community is. Whenever I go on community night, it's
Yep,
wonderful.
Wednesday's
It's
Cape Ann night.
Yeah.
So it's
night.
discount tickets for Cape Ann residents on
And
Wednesdays.
Whenever I've been
Yep.
there, it's everybody in the neighborhood. It's it's like home night.
Right.
Even just being here for the first time, my first time in the North Shore, really spending a long period of time here.
Oh, I'm so interested in your perceptions. Like,
Well, I just have been eating dinner at different bars on Main Street, or going to different stores, and Beverly, right? Was in
Yeah.
here? Beverly
Yeah.
was in here, and she saw I was wearing a shirt from a different theater festival, and I was like, I've been happy to share, like, hey, I'm in a show at Gloucester Stage, and almost everyone I've talked to goes, oh, I'm already a seasoned subscriber, I'll see you there. And it's amazing, and like
That's
it's
amazing.
so many people who I've just talked to randomly are like, oh yeah, we heard about that, we'll be there.
Well, there's no way the theater would have lasted for 40 years without, a professional theater that is alive after 40 years. There's
That's very
no,
unusual,
a professional
isn't it?
non-profit theater.
Right.
There are other theaters on the North Shore that aren't professional, and there are other theaters that were nonprofit that are now not nonprofit.
Right.
So
Or are no longer here anymore.
yeah,
Right.
or so to keep it together for that long is a real feat, and I think it's because of the community and all that and people like Lindsay Crouse, who this is her community and she cares about her theater.
And every
That's
year
true.
you do at least one play.
Well, it's
Gloucester Stage.
Yeah.
it's miraculous.
And she teaches in the youth program. We have a new session of the youth acting workshop starting on Friday, and Lindsay's going to come in and teach the advanced teen workshop. Can you imagine how many kids can be taught by an Academy Award nominee, star at Gloucester Stage? Really?
I always say, I said it in the program this time, I said it's sort of funny. You get an Academy Award nomination, 1985 or something like that. And then it keeps going, but you think oh please, what year is it now?
Yeah, but Lindsay, you have to
Yeah, but
realize
your body
no
of work.
guarantee of
Lindsay,
anything.
it's
So I
a
look-
very small pool of people, so it's something you
It
have
is
to
a small pool,
celebrate.
but not only that though. The longevity of your career. So Chris came by, and I was telling him about House of Games, and I'm like, so I go to Internet Movie Database, IMBD, and I pull up your name, and I'm scrolling pages and pages of all your credits. It's, I'll put that in the show notes so people can check out. Have you seen that? Have you seen the movie House of Game?
You might.
Go! You have to see it. You have to see it.
Yeah.
I knew there was a problem with
You have to see it.
To
You
our
have
house
to
for
see it.
dinner.
Going to Harvard doesn't
Lindsay.
teach you anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to Harvard.
I know.
Yeah.
I have
we
a
both we both went to Harvard.
Actually, we went to Radcliffe. There were 1,200 or 1,400 Harvard freshmen. There were 400 Cliffies.
Yeah. When I went to Harvard, it was 3 guys to 1 girl. So it was He'll pull things like, oh, I'm doing. I'm like, doesn't matter to me.
Just take it easy.
Yeah, it's like, take it easy, Speedy.
He's a bright young man.
We understand Harvard, the two of us.
Yeah. Don't
We
try to
went
fool
there.
us.
Poor
We
guy.
went there.
Poor guy.
Am I too old?
Before
Am
I
too old
do-
for this?
I
Yep.
think you'd be perfect.
Sunday night, September 15th, we're doing, we have a local filmmaker who's amazing, Ron Wyman, has a film called The Fisherman's Wife. Total Gloucester film. And we're surrounding it with all sorts of other Gloucester films, poems, songs,
Great.
all kinds of stuff. It is like total.
September 15th.
Yeah, Sunday night, 7:30.
And then Tuesday is the Ray Charles.
So One Ray Let's Journey is this Tuesday, and I'm actually going to meet Cynthia Scott right now. But she was a backup singer for Ray Charles. So it's Tuesday at
Are there
7:30.
flyers for these? Or?
Yeah, there are. Yeah,
We can look on the.
Yeah.
We can
Where
grab.
on the
And it's on the
website.
website.
Grab it off the
And then
website.
tonight
Grab it off the
is
website.
called Waiting Room, and it's a one-woman show written and composed by Jessica Bates. So Never Dark keeps steaming. But The Gloucester thing is a
September 13th.
cool story. The film's amazing.
And that's
What's
on,
the
that's
name
on
again?
the Gloucester
The
Stage
Fisherman's
website.
Wife.
That's on the Gloucester Stage website.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
September 15th.
Yeah.
The Fisherman's
Bring
Wife.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks.
We'll see you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Bob.
Thanks for
Bye,
coming,
Bob.
Bob.
See you, Bob.
So, Chris, I would make a special exception if
Yeah.
you would like to be part of the youth acting workshop.
Yeah.
I think your
I will.
your temperament would fit in.
Very youthful. Very youthful.
I think that if you would
I'll be
fit
there.
in, we have an advanced teen acting class.
Will you put me right into the event?
Maybe I
Wow.
would. Yeah, yeah.
Come
I
on.
would put you can learn improv. We're
Careful,
actually
Mom.
going to have a
Careful.
special class, an improv class. You can learn
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, we're going to have advanced improv with a guy who worked with an improv troupe in Boston, and then we're going to do stage combat and sword fighting with a cast member from To Kill a
That's why you
Mockingbird.
want it.
Who Tom was also in. He's been
We
in a
need a
ton of
victim.
things, but he was in City on a Hill as well. You know, the new Showtime show with Kevin Bacon. And
So it was the guy that goes out with the other girl that was on the show.
Which one?
What's his name? It was he played. Did he play Atticus? Did he play Atticus?
oh no, that was Lewis Wheeler's
That's
in
Lewis.
City on the Hill. He plays a lawyer. He has like one scene.
So that's
as a
not who you
lawyer.
were talking about.
No, we're talking about
Oh.
Tom Key.
I guessed wrong.
No, Tom Key. He and his wife studied at the Old Vic and studied with some of the foremost sword fighters and stage
Sword
combat, sword fighting.
Sword fighters.
I call it sword play because we're not going to actually fight, but so we're going to be learning except we're going to do some Shakespeare. We're doing Hamlet in October, November at the theater, and we have a woman playing Hamlet, which is going to be super cool. So we're going to be getting the kids ready for Hamlet as well, so they can be involved in it. And it's fun. It's 4 hours at the theater, and Young Playwrights Festival is coming up.
Awesome.
Tuesday, September 17th.
All right.
So we have 7 young people that have written 10-minute plays,
Oh, wow.
and
Is that flyer on the website?
That's every year now,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep.
That's a yearly thing now.
yep, we're trying to
Very
do it
cool.
every year, and we're praying your favorite actor, Paul Melendi.
Oh, naked guy. You don't have to say Paul
Naked
Money.
guy.
Just say the naked guy.
So Paul Melendi, will be his 2nd year in a row that he's been acting in the Young Playwrights Festival. And it's really amazing for him to give his time to be in the festival, and it means so much to the kids because they see him in the show.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, so up until last week, he was one of my. Well, I still say he's top 2.
Yeah.
Him and Brad Hall.
Yeah.
But the
Lindsay's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
That's like-
you don't have to say that. But the one. The writers from last week
Together as a group?
were absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
You weren't here.
No.
You bailed on
I
us
didn't
last
get
week.
Yeah, you bailed.
The
I didn't get
actors,
invited.
You
I
didn't
mean,
get
the
invited.
writers
We
were
didn't get
so
invited.
The writers
funny.
are so great.
They were so funny.
So adorable.
Oh my God, those
Yeah.
guys! Yeah,
They
I
did.
said, what did I say? I says I like to go up.
No, we didn't get
When-
invited,
when
which is
I-
why I wanted to be there with
Yeah.
the writers, but I was told no.
Whenever I say, I wish we could. This wasn't stopping, and we just could continue this over beers. Those are my favorite. My
Really?
favorite ones.
Yeah.
So, where have you been in town for breakfast or lunch or dinner that you would say give a shout out
Yeah.
to?
Oh, give it short and Maine.
Short Maine.
Dollar oyster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You-
no.
That was a.
No, I like Short Maine.
Jordan Maine is one of my
I didn't say anything.
favorites, too. Yeah.
Great place.
Um,
Great
Did you
place.
order a cocktail at Short
Oh,
Maine?
sure did.
Yeah. One that has to be.
Did the guy?
Oh, yeah, it has to be a little.
Oh, did he give you?
a
Did
little
he give you the
over-
thing?
over
Did he give you the
under.
thing?
You like beer company?
Cape Ann
Cape
Brewery.
Ann.
Oh my
Brewery?
goodness.
Yeah.
Amazing barbecue.
Oh yeah.
Amazing barbecue.
So okay, I'm gonna stop you right here for 1 second. They just got. I think it was like a month ago or 2. They just got a full liquor license.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
At Cape Ann Brewing.
Oh wow.
So
know
Cape Ann
that.
Brewing was off the table for me because my wife said
Won't have
my
the
wife
beer, yeah.
she won't have the beer. She has to have her Tito's soda. So based on that, it was
Right.
my favorite fish. Excuse me, my favorite fish and chips in town is the beer battered fish and chips
Really?
at Cape Ann
Yeah.
Brewing. I think it is phenomenal.
Yeah, they have them. It's
So good.
It's the same batter for the calamari.
So
They have
So Mark
it's meat
Ring,
calamari.
Lobsterman Mark Ring, who ties up right there, just said yesterday, he went there yesterday and he had the brisket and he said, It is.
Wow.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of places that don't do it right. They're doing it right.
They're doing it right. They have a smoker outside.
Yeah.
They just have a little porch now. We have a squirt gun in case any of the seagulls come by.
Oh, I didn't know about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They need
I'm
that.
a big fan. Also, my favorite beer is like it's called like a Kolsch style beer, and like they have an amazing one. It's called the Kook Island. It's my
Yeah,
favorite.
Kook
They have a
Island's
pumpkin
good.
stout that I wanted to try, but everybody's been drinking it, so it was
I'm a
so
mug
bad.
club. I'm a mug club member.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I've
got
only
a mug
used
up
it
there.
twice, but
Gotta
I can
get
see
Derek a
the
pumpkin
seagulls
stout
going off with a
your
coconut.
mug.
stout.
You know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Mug 16. Mug 16. I'll let you use it.
Okay. And then the other bar I really liked was Stones.
Sounds
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Great.
I
All
always-
great selections.
I always say this.
So you
It's
didn't-
amazing. What amazes me about the restaurants in Gloucester, like Stones and place across the street,
Halibut.
Point, yeah.
The kitchens are the size of this
I know.
desk,
Yeah,
and
amazing.
the quality of food that they're pumping out
Someone has-
Spectacular.
is crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I've basically just been trying to have
Oh, I could-
seafood all day, every night. I've been trying to just.
We have it in Foster.
I know that little section with Stones and how. Have you been to the Thai restaurant?
No.
The Thai
The
restaurant.
Purple Building.
The Thai
Yeah.
restaurant is unbelievable, and they're so kind and
Oh,
wonderful. And that little section down there is turned into,
Yeah.
you know, and Sage is down there with the flower
right.
shop. It's so pretty.
Yeah, the new barber shop.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
son.
It's in your barber shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
son
it's
went in
super
there
cool.
to get his haircut. I lost the guy's card, but the guy who owns it, my son said, "Great guy, got a
Reasonable.
great haircut."
Box office Billy, our box office manager,
office,
yeah.
and my neighbor Billy, gets his haircut there. He went
Okay.
down right, and he is looking fine.
Yeah.
His hair looks great. So
Well, and I went as well. And,
Take it easy.
Oh,
honey.
wow.
I mean,
What a do.
they did unbelievable.
Also,
what is it called?
dessert-wise.
black
Blackbeard?
beer,
Ah,
black
man, I'm
Black
beer.
Bear?
Bear.
Black Bear?
We got to give them proper credit.
I know,
Let me
come on.
pull it up.
What were you gonna say? Just
I would say Cafe Cecilia.
Oh, yeah.
Great. I just got like biscotti and it was amazing.
Yeah.
You also ate at Duckworth's.
I did eat at
Oh,
Duckworth's.
You
yeah.
had the banana cake.
Because the
Oh,
parents,
the banana cake.
the parents were in town, and I said, "All right, we're going to Duckworth's."
well, it's great that you got
And,
a reservation there.
Oh yeah,
We're lucky.
Yeah.
that was
Come
one
on,
of the
famous
banana
people
cake-
like this, they don't have to wait.
No,
Well, I wanted to say this while Bob was here. I and I'm sorry that I didn't. I said all this other stuff instead. But I mean, this is my first professional show.
that's
Oh, is it?
that's
GloucesterCast
great.
is giving me my equity card, which means I can join the Actors
I'm
Union.
so happy.
This is really the first time I'm getting paid to do theater.
You got paid?
I got paid. Oh, sorry, was I not supposed to tell it? This
I
is
thought
my
you were
first.
volunteers.
Yeah.
It's
We're gonna have to get
nonprofit.
Daniel Radcliffe to finish the run now.
So but
He would have
I'm
done
so
it naked.
thankful.
He
I'm
would have
so
done it
thankful
naked.
to
Daniel
this.
Radcliffe would have done his role naked.
I mean,
So what did you have for dinner at Duckworth?
I had the pork loin
Oh, that
with
was
the
great.
shishito peppers, the
Good
corn
choice.
succotash, and an eggplant puree.
He's still living it.
Had a glass of Gruner and Albarino.
Now, what is Albarino?
Albarino is a Spanish white wine. It's sometimes categorized as a green wine. The Rudder has Albarino as well. I like the
How do you
Rudder.
know so much about wine?
I was in the Harvard Wine Society.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
And
And,
now they have like a wine appreciation class at my old dorm now. I'm like, why didn't they have that one? I mean, we
It was
appreciated
$65
it,
a
but-
semester, and we had 4 wine tastings of like $200 bottles of wine. And none of us knew anything about it.
Oh, that's
We just had, yeah.
That's
I
great.
would love that.
It was the douchiest
I
thing.
told Derek I never had a drink in college. He looked at me like,
Yeah, she's such a boozer now.
How did you have fun?
It was the
Actually,
60s at Harvard.
Joe and I have been debating that over the past couple of weeks because I, believe it or not, haven't drank in 2 weeks.
Oh.
And Joe, we were out the other night, Drift. I
need
don't
to
know
go
how many
there.
of you. Oh, you have to definitely go to Drift. For those of you who haven't been to Drift, it's a must-go-to place at night. You know, after dinner,
where's Drift?
right across the street from Tono. As a matter of fact, we had dinner at Tono, wonderful dinner, and then walked right across the street to Drift.
Are you talking about the old Latitude?
No,
No.
it's the
Because
old.
it keeps changing its name.
No,
I
that's,
never
that's
know.
Minglewood now.
So where
Right.
Drift
it's
is
it's the Gattinary building right there.
It's right on the
Oh,
corner.
used to be
yeah.
a gas station.
Yeah, yeah,
And they
yeah.
have a
That's
little
where I
porch.
worked.
Yeah.
high school and college. I pumped gas there.
What's
Oh, wow.
really nice
I'm
is
from
that
Jersey. I've never pumped gas
so
until
you
I
go
got
in
here.
from the street, but then they've opened up the back. So now you have a whole view of
The
Little
back
porch,
is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing people
Great,
sitting.
music in there.
So is it a restaurant or is it just a bar? Or?
Well, so it actually opens in the morning. You can get coffee and muffins there.
Really?
I don't know what time they start serving alcohol, but they do have a nice little menu, charcuterie boards
They
and
start serving
some
alcohol
sandwiches.
after church.
After church.
No, I learned that when I was filming St. Peter's.
Nice.
And
Nice.
everybody was coming in, and they were like, "Nope, we can't do it until after Mass.
Yeah.
We can't." do
That's
it."
awesome. I mean, if you've already had a little wine to start the day at Mass, I think that opens it up.
Communion and on you go.
Yeah.
But no, it's you got to go there if you
That's
have
great.
it.
I'd love
They
to.
do have pickies, some great desserts. So if you do go to dinner
Oh gosh.
somewhere else, you can
After
get
the show.
Yeah.
After the show
after the
finishes,
show,
I get
of course,
the desserts.
of course. But we went there Friday night, and Joe was drinking and I wasn't.
Wow.
And I told him that I had just as much fun as he did, and he's like, "What? You weren't drinking?" I'm like, "I don't need to drink. I'm starting to discover that you don't need to drink to have fun."
Well, it was the company.
I thought that was straight vodka.
Well, it is.
Look how much fun you're having this morning, and you're not.
And we're not
That's it.
hungover. We're not hungover.
That's
Joe's
right.
not hungover. I'm not hungover. He seems to be a little out of sorts for not being hungover. But it's an interesting point. Like, you didn't drink in college, and that's what Joe said. He goes, but just think of how much fun we would have missed. Because I told him, I said, you know how much money I would have if I could take all the money that I have ever spent on
At Captain
booze
Carlos.
only, booze only, either at a restaurant or the liquor store. I mean, I think I might be able to consider myself rich
Wow.
if I had the money. And Joe's like, yeah, but just think of how much fun we would have missed. And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, here's my big thing, and this is what is I think my family really instilled in me. Good friends, good food, good drink. That's a great night. I mean, you don't always need the drink or the food, as long as you got the good friends. But I think those three, that's a really special night. Some nights, and I think sometimes you can use the drink as part of the meal, and as part of the experience,
Not as a coping.
Yeah. Which
Like, I don't
also
want to be out
works.
with these people.
I had a guy I went out with in college. The last day of college, he came to me, and he grabs me by the arm. I go, "Gosh, what's going on?" He said, "You are going to smoke a joint today." He said, "You have never smoked a joint. You are not a member of your generation." He said, "You cannot leave college without
That's
smoking a
right.
joint."
So now you can say you smoked in college.
I was trying to become a professional dancer when I was in college, so I was, clean as a whistle.
Wow.
So yeah, I took a puff and I thought, this is like really, it doesn't
not
taste
in-
very good.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially back then. It's like oregano.
But I had a great time. I had a great
Jazzy
time in
oregano.
college. It
That's
didn't
funny.
hamper my good time, that's for sure.
Yeah. The name of the barbershop is Black Bear Barbershop.
Black Bear?
Black Bear Barbershop.
That's a nice
Yeah,
name.
my son gave it 3 thumbs up. So for those of you who have hair, unlike myself, I can't.
Think how much
Go to the place.
money you save on hair
Haircuts.
products.
Yeah, that's
And
what
haircuts.
Haircuts.
Yeah, and hair
I mean,
products.
this has
I
only
just want
been
to know
like
about the
15
thumbs.
years.
You only have 2 thumbs, but that's a 3 thumbs up. How many thumbs are the best number of thumbs?
That's
I mean, I
true.
don't get it.
Well, my son was born with 3 thumbs.
And he gives lifespan of effect. The lifespan of effect. He gives the lifespan of effect 3 thumbs up.
Right. So it just gets people to think. 3 thumbs. Kind of like yourself.
Just like the show makes you
Just
think.
like the show.
Have you been to the Franklin?
I have been to the Franklin.
Okay.
I like the Franklin as well. We actually went with the playwrights after our opening preview.
That's one of the few places where you can go late
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
dinner.
But this show is at 7:30 to 8:30.
And it's under an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
look at who
Three
came.
and 9.
Whoa, hey, look at who's here.
So you get out.
Joe's here.
Oh, damn business,
Joe,
With
we
this
won't
show-
even miss you.
with
We didn't
this
miss
show
you.
on a weeknight or a weekend, you get out, before 9. So
You can go
there are
anywhere.
still a lot of places, but the Franklin, like actually after a show, that's all you think about, really.
You could go to the Drift for a nice
Like we did.
cappuccino. I talked about it.
Did you talk about it already?
Yeah, I talked about
See,
it.
I wasn't here for it.
I'm a
talked about our
cappuccino
date.
girl.
Can you
debate.
drink cappuccino at night?
Oh,
Yeah.
I can.
Oh my God!
I
Speaking
can.
of that,
My
you have-
husband can drink it.
Doesn't bother
espresso at 11 o'clock and he's asleep at
I
11:15.
can't have decaf coffee, otherwise I'm up all night.
Doesn't bother
I don't
me
have
at all.
caffeine at all. I have
Yeah.
no caffeine.
Doesn't
I
bother
can't
me.
do
the
it.
best espresso martini in all of Gloucester at Drift.
Espresso, not the espresso.
Espresso.
Don't try the espresso
man.
because the
Oh, I say
espresso is kind of
espresso.
funny. Get the espresso.
Espresso.
Don't get the espresso. Get the
That's really what they
espresso.
should just call it, double
Espresso.
espresso.
So-
Leaves out the espresso.
I have
I
to
like
say, it's not a restaurant, but I had amazing oysters from Turner's this week.
There's seafood.
We did
Did you shop them
a.
yourself?
We had no. We had. That's what young James Turner is for. He works his way through Dartmouth.
Oh yeah.
I
Good
went
golfer.
to
Good golfer.
Turner's. I bought a tuna steak, and I had just a tuna steak for dinner. I
Great,
cooked
good.
it up myself. That
How do
was-
you cook it on the grill?
on the stove, just on the stove. A minute on the stove each side, and then
Some sesame seeds.
little sesame seeds, some stir-fried vegetables on the side.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Those oysters were delicious, really good. So
Oh,
I want to say one thing about the talk for the Chamber of Commerce, that it's on the imagination.
it's the
Oh,
businesswoman's
that sounds
event.
It's on
Yeah.
the imagine. Would
It's
you?
on the imagination.
It's not in the imagination. It's about
It's
on
about-
the imagination.
Talk about the
The
imagination.
topic.
As the route out for the environment, for our mental health and our survival, for balance, and for understanding.
Wow. So what's the date for that? Do you know? Well, I'd
have to- the
I'd
tenth?
have to ask you that.
Let me see. Hang on.
Ken
I think
talked
it's the
about
10th.
it.
Ken
Yeah.
told us the day.
Ken-
Chris, we need an
Hold
update.
on.
We need an update from you on your
It's-
lobster trap.
Oh, my lobster.
Hang on. I gotta open my phone. I believe it's the 10th.
Yeah, Ken talked about
The
that.
10th of October.
Businesswoman's luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the division of the chamber. Yeah.
So I think Joe wanted me to talk about my lobstering. I know I've
Yes,
gone
yeah.
dark a little bit on Good Morning Gloucester, but I wanted to make sure everyone knew that I'm still a fisherman. I'm still a lobsterman.
Did you break even yet, or?
No, I think Joe did the calculation this morning. It's down to like $21 per lobster. My
Okay.
count is now up to 25.
Oh, that's awesome.
Six hauls, 8 lobster traps.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
and,
great.
You know, it's been a lot of fun. I brought my daughter out there with some of her friends, and it's been good bringing her friends out because they can actually pull up the traps for me, so I don't have to do it myself. But it's been a lot of fun. When I get the lobsters, I've been able to give them to my neighbors and create some neighborly love.
Do you
Wow.
not eat lobster?
I do,
You
but you can only eat so much lobster.
So this is my
Really?
question.
Not me.
This is the one that I've been scared of doing on my own. I've had some tuna on my own. I've had some
Yeah.
shrimp on my own, cooking it up in my kitchen. I don't
It's
know
so,
what to do with a lobster.
You're
it's
not
so
ready
easy.
for the lobster?
So
Well,
what do you suggest?
You want me to? I know how to cook them really well.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a
So
secret.
you get a pound and a quarter, and you try to get the soft shell ones from Joey.
Where do you buy them? Where do you
From
buy them?
Joey.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know you can buy lobsters, right?
I think I'm gonna buy one on my
He
way
might
out.
even give you
Yeah,
one
right.
free.
I
And
can do
Not
that.
on your way out.
Do you have a big pot in your kitchen?
We sure do.
Okay, so you don't have to fill it up with very much water, just a couple inches, right? And
Okay.
get that to a nice rolling boil. Put the lobster in.
Kim, there's a butterfly.
Oh, there's a
monarch.
monarch. There's a monarch. No,
Holy
really.
shit! Did you
that's
see that?
beautiful.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh my gosh.
That's good
They're
luck.
following you, Kim.
Wow, my film's gonna be
Let's
done
kill
in
it.
about
Where's
2
the
minutes.
fly
They're
swat?
following
Like
you.
milkweed in the yard.
Yeah.
Although it's late for
So, is
milkweed.
it still?
Where's
oh,
the
it's
fly
still
swat?
out there.
Where's the
It's
fly
still out
swatter?
there. No, it's
Kim,
still
I'll get
out
it.
there.
Watch out, it bites.
It wants to come in.
Oh my God, will it come in?
I
Kim,
think
he's
my-
looking
Don't
for
let
you.
it come in, sweetie. Let it
Yeah,
have its
it's a
freedom.
little stick in my hair.
Yeah.
Kim, I think it's someone you know.
So
It could be my uncle.
They're following you.
It would be
He's
awesome
following
to
you.
Yeah,
get a
she's
picture
getting out her
of it.
knife.
No, it would be awesome to get a picture of it in the.
Oh
in the
my God,
dog.
yeah,
It would
with
be
the
awesome.
flies.
Harrowing.
With the flies.
So you say boil over steam?
Yeah. Well, You don't need that
Yeah.
much water in there.
So you actually
it's-
steam.
You're kind of it's
Okay.
kind of half steam, half boil.
Okay.
And then you just
broil?
as soon as it starts boiling, then you just time it. So about 10 minutes for
Okay.
1 1/4 pound lobster. Don't overcook it. And then you
What
take-
setting do I put my stove on?
Just boiling.
Boiling.
Right.
How
And
long?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
For a
yeah.
pound
Yeah.
and a quarter.
On top of
If you do it longer than that, the meat gets tough. So you want the soft shell lobsters also because they're sweeter.
Yeah.
They ship out most of the hard shell lobsters for the foreign market because they ship better. But the soft shell ones are the most tender and the most sweetest.
Look at Kim.
I'm
with
learning
all the lobster
Do you know how to
facts.
crack a lobster and all that?
I do.
Yeah.
Very easy.
The talk
What's a lobster?
at the chamber is October 10th
10th
at 11:30 in the morning
Okay.
at the Boatport.
All right. Great. We'll put that on the website.
And the chamber
Thank you.
after hours business mixer is at the theater this Wednesday.
Okay. We'll put
And
that on
with a little reception beforehand, and then you get to see the show. It's amazing. It's really fun.
Let me see what else Joe has on his agenda here. Jeff's Variety. I stopped by there this morning at Jeff's Variety. I don't know how many of you have been to Jeff's
Yeah.
Variety, but I mean, I've passed it multiple times, and then one day I finally said to myself, you know what, I'm going to stop in there. They have great coffee,
They have really good coffee.
6-7 different flavors.
Did you hear they have good lobster rolls? I heard that.
No, I know they have
They
a
have
great
good
deli.
sandwiches.
They have a
They
great
good
deli.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
Jeff's
So the
Variety.
lobster
It's on-
roll's
I've
good?
heard, I haven't been there, but I've heard from, I think it was Laurie Lufkin, who, chef. She
Really?
said she
Oh,
mentioned
wow.
that they were good.
I haven't
Where's
had the
the
lobster roll, but I've had sandwiches. The gobbler one is really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
My wife went in there for a salad the other day, and she raved about it.
Really?
She was able to customize it. It might have been Jeff himself who made it, but
Wow.
the egg sandwiches there are amazing in the morning. They got egg.
Jeff's
Latin
Variety.
Jeff's Variety.
Right,
Yeah.
right on
Again,
the-
it's not a place you would think about going into, but it's another one of those what I call hidden gems where you're silly not to for a good sandwich or even in the morning for coffee and a prepared egg sandwich that's to die for.
You know where another place is Surfside Sub.
Oh yeah.
They,
Yeah.
on Tuesdays they have lobster roll special day, and it's like $11.95 instead of
Wow.
$20.95.
Is that-
Long Beach.
That's
On
going
the
out
way
to-
to Long Beach.
Going out to Rockport.
Right.
Right. On
Next to
120
Long
on
Beach
127.
I haven't been to
Right.
Virgilio's. I screwed up.
You haven't?
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God.
I'll be there soon.
Ah.
Go.
Oh my god. The vegetarian sandwich.
Just
Oh.
get
And
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 I'm
the
not
other
a
one.
vegetarian.
North Ender,
The bread.
West Ender. So they make everything on handmade rolls, the St.
That are
Joseph
to
rolls.
die
they're
for.
called, and they're
To die
really-
for it.
I like the nor'easter.
The nori, so they're the rolls are the perfect medium for the layers and layers of meats and veggies, and then they also put on some kind of like Italian dressing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well,
And so that the bread absorbs
Oh,
the.
my
they
mouth's
have an
watering.
olive salad. Oh my god, the olive salad.
Like a
on the-
muffaletta.
Oh.
Like a
My
muffaletta.
parents are at Zeke's place right now.
Oh,
good.
Zeke's.
Yeah.
Zeke's
Yeah.
is great.
No,
And I have
told
to
you
say,
it would be 45 minutes. Why are you there now?
and I have to
Yeah.
say,
How long were they here for? Did they meet
Joe,
other
They
places?
You're
leave
done.
today.
We took a vote.
I'm
You're
out.
out. I'm in. Sorry, Joe.
and I
Nice
have to
meeting
say,
you.
while we're talking about hidden gems, I have to say about Last Stop Variety, the new Last Stop.
There's new people doing stuff there?
Yeah, they bought it in the spring. Nancy.
Oh, I have to go check it out.
Oh my God, Joey! It's right next to Gloucester Stage Company.
And they're always
Oh,
they're
yeah,
always
yeah.
open. They're
And
always open.
they are open. They even during the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're open until the theater starts.
Oh.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine
Wow.
that?
Great.
Shocking.
Wow.
And they're trying new menu items
Wow.
every day. They had
I
lobster
definitely-
rolls.
So wait that's a lunch option for me.
Yep.
Yes, it's a lunch
Because
option.
I mean, okay, so from the lights from Pier 23 this way
Yep.
to take out food, it's very limited.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go out of the Shire, East Gloucester,
You're gonna go over the wall.
Shire. If I'm going over the wall, then like to have a legit
To have another
takeout
option.
lunch
And they
option.
do smoothies. They have made to order smoothies.
I love
They do.
smoothies.
They have coffee. They have all kinds of, you know, the
that's good to know,
muffins and
That's
the,
huge to know.
and they're on Instagram too.
Whoa.
Oh.
They have an Insta. So
Did they keep any of the items from the original?
yeah, I believe it's the same baker.
Oh,
So
same baker.
Oh, the baker.
it's the same baker.
I
They were
have
able
to go
get
in there like this, blinders
Yeah.
on.
They were able to get the baker to come
Beautiful
back.
things.
And they have soups and they have, you know, and
That's awesome.
Some chicken noodle
Nancy
before the show.
Gorgeous.
who
Good
owns
guy.
it.
You know what they had before?
Who's the owners?
Nancy
What a
is her
good word
name.
in for pumpkin donuts. They
Oh.
were making pumpkin donuts.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I want some apple cider donut.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Oh, apple cider donuts.
they're
It's
like
almost
apple
that
cider,
season.
But
Russell's
because
Oysters.
I'm not a big pumpkin person, pumpkin spice,
No.
but
You know,
those
pumpkin
pumpkin donuts were really
Oh, yeah.
good. And
Have
they
to
were.
get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this summer they had a blueberry peach coffee cake.
They got great baking. Then there's Dorda's Cape Ann coffees. That's not.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Do you know
true.
that Dorda was the nanny of my children in California?
Yeah.
Is that how she got here?
I brought her here.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little known fact. I love it.
Isn't that great?
She's a sweetheart. I love
Oh,
her.
the best.
I love
Forever.
both
We
of
would
them.
try
And
to
her
straight-
husband, Rick Noonan, is sneaky one of the funniest guys on Cape Ann.
He is very funny.
Sneaky funny.
Very dry.
He's also a super great guy. Like when he offered to help us have some things held at the shop for the piping plovers and stuff like that. It was just very nice. Like people could come and pick up things there if they needed it. The volunteers for the beach and stuff
Oh, yeah?
like that. Yeah.
Well,
He
and-
just
Now he's
offered
going to
that.
get inundated
He-
with
No, he
volunteer
just-
people
he-
asking for free stuff.
And Dorda met him on Annisquam. Dorda met him when she was living in Annisquam with Lindsay over the one
Right.
summer.
Wow.
I know, we wouldn't have those amazing cookies. That's what I love. It
The
gave me
oatmeal
one-
cookies as
those,
big as your head.
those oatmeal
Those
cookies.
oatmeal cookies.
Oh,
my
okay.
God.
My niece works
Oatmeal
there.
cookies.
So I love my favorite is the salmon on the bagel with the
Oh,
What
yeah.
is that called?
The
really good with the
bagel lox.
capers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I get every time.
Go
On
to.
everything bagel, toasted.
Me too. Good call.
The listeners are saying, Chris, you're a much better host. I'm only kidding.
Is that your mom or your wife?
Or your son with the 3 sons?
Did you? Hey,
Just the three
did you
thumbs.
talk about Tono and
I did.
and the drift
Yeah.
I
and the
did.
live music?
Yeah.
How you okay? So did you mention how you came from Danvers and you had to drive like all the way down Route 1 to see live music,
That I
and it was
did
a bunch of old people that like were just trying to get
Pick
laid.
each other up.
Yeah, pick each other
God,
up.
there's so many places.
He
for
says,
live
but
music
now I moved to
around
Gloucester
here.
and there's a
but
bunch of
when
places.
I lived in Danvers. Like, we could never find a place with. I just want to go to a bar and have a cocktail and have someone play
Yeah.
some great music.
We had a blast at
And
Drift the
there's
other
so
night.
many places
Alright, I gotta go.
here in
This
Gloucester.
is great.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
You have to go.
Where we
Found
going?
us.
We're going to
Glad
drink
you
after your
moved to
show?
the island.
Have a drink and dessert and a little music?
I'm telling you right now, you will. I guarantee you'll have a great time there.
Alright.
Yeah.
Great.
It's
All right.
especially if he's there because
What
he
do you
gets
mean?
the band going.
You're the one who was dancing up a storm.
This was Chris. This was Chris on the dance floor. This was Chris. That was him.
No.
That was him.
Let the record show that was Joe. I have
all
some
out
people
Where's your
who will
wife?
vouch. There will be people who will vouch for me.
So Chris is not
my God.
drinking. Chris
That's
is
not a
Chris,
fact.
two
We heard.
2 weeks no booze.
Joe, you
And
missed
you
the
are
entire show,
drinking.
Joe. I covered everything on that.
Did you go down the list?
Well, there's some things I didn't.
Did you talk
Talk about Chris not drinking.
So we tried to we both had a thing where we said, what would you be able to afford if you never spent money on booze?
I covered
I says
that.
I could definitely buy a house, another
Right.
house if I
Whoa.
could, with all the money that I spent.
Whoa.
Over
Chris said he'd be a millionaire.
Well, I said rich. This depends on how you define
Billionaire?
millionaire.
rich. Get your facts right.
A million's not a million. You're not rich with a million anymore. A million, you're not
Yeah, a
rich.
million is like just peanuts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you talk about Cape Ann bowling?
I didn't.
Oh.
Cape Ann lanes?
Cape Ann Lanes.
Cape Ann
my
Lanes.
Thursday couples league started last Thursday.
And you don't have to.
Saturday.
You just looking at Chris, you know, you don't really have to be an athlete to bowl.
I mean, you have to have a strong right arm. I mean, it hurts. Hurts this
Little
week.
stiff, little
Yeah,
stiff.
I didn't.
That's my running arm.
Yeah, that's my drinking arm.
Not anymore, it isn't.
That's why it's sore. But no, it was great to see the
progress.
progress that they're making with the brewery.
Yeah.
because there's a brewery
Right.
going there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Alright, I gotta go do
And
that.
they
the
did
bowling alley?
at the
Yeah.
bowling alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have a great menu. They're you know, they had some food items prior to that, but
Are they
they're
gonna
expanding their
Are
menu.
they brewing their own beer?
They're
there?
going to brew their own beer there.
Yeah.
Have they already started?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well,
I think
they
it's
may
gonna
have
be
started the
open within next
fermentation
month,
thing.
The month or so, and they got great bowling.
Yeah, they cleaned that place up. It's
it's
total
great.
one
Yeah.
another feather
I
in the
mean,
cap that is Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Think of all the parking that's around there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
That's
just
awesome.
yeah.
so
Yeah.
Oh, and the
easy
people
to
we've
stand
met,
there.
the people
Yeah.
we've met, it's been a lot of fun
Did
participating.
you know that when I was a kid, the upstairs of Willow Rest was
Oh,
a wooden pin bowling alley?
Really?
Every Friday night, we went bowling there. There was
Wow.
usually a very good-looking teenage boy who
Yes.
reset the pins. So we didn't miss a Friday night.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Big boy.
I wonder who those pin boys were and what
Yeah,
are they
pin
doing
boys.
now?
Jeez, I know, huh? There was one down in East
wonderful.
Gloucester too. There was a bowling alley down
The
by
Bolorama or something?
something.
Yeah.
I think it was down by down by not Browns, Beacon, down by Beacon Marine, I believe.
Really? A bowling
There was a
alley?
little bowling alley there too. Yeah, there must have
Wow.
been this like little craze or something, a little fad.
When I had to go to Los Angeles at a certain point in my life to work in television, I was very lonely, and I knew a few people in Los Angeles. So I'd grown up bowling here. I love bowling, and so I went to the local bowling alley in Santa Monica, and I liked it. So I sent out a formal invitation to my friends that every Tuesday night I would be at the bowling alley at 7:30. That I would rent it for 2 hours, and anybody who wanted to come, anybody they wanted to bring, I would love to have them. It was
A blast.
so much fun.
Fun.
People
Wow.
who had been in fancy dinners came
Yeah.
in their fancy clothes.
That's
People
great.
came in,
Oh, so
it
fun.
was adorable,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it
so
was a
fun.
way for me to find a foothold in a city that I had never
That's
lived
great.
in.
Yeah, so
You
that's
know
good
what's
to know.
interesting about bowling here in New England? It's almost like steak tips. Like if you go outside of New England, like if you're in the Midwest somewhere and you ask for steak tips, they'll look at you like, what the hell is steak tips? So when you
Different
say
cultures,
bowling,
yeah.
when you say bowling, a lot. Again, if you remove yourself from New England or the Northeast, everyone thinks about
Right, they
the,
go-
the big balls.
Candlepin, duck pin, yeah.
Yeah, candle pin. It's like people like
What is that?
small balls, but it's such a New England tradition. It's crazy.
I love it. Did you mention the farmers market?
No, I didn't.
Farmers market's still going on.
Yeah,
I think it
went
goes
there.
through
Yeah.
October.
Every
To October
Thursday.
every
Yeah.
Thursday. And so give me your first impressions. First time going.
You were
Awesome.
your first time going?
Yeah, first time going. My wife's been
Whoa,
there.
whoa,
Stage
whoa,
Fort
whoa,
Park.
whoa.
Right.
Thursday
Farmers
afternoon,
market.
3 o'clock.
It's a legit farmers market.
All right.
Great
Really?
stuff.
Where is it at?
Have you
With a
where the
gazebo.
fisherman's statue is on the boulevard?
Yeah.
So as you go down the boulevard, there's a beautiful green area called Stage Fort Park, and it's up
You
in
go
there.
up it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
up and
With the
down.
cannons on.
Yeah, that
Welcome
beautiful
center.
view.
There's
yeah.
a gazebo. It's right next to the
Yeah,
gazebo.
okay, that's where it's gonna be. Yeah. We drove
Yeah,
back
every
there, so
Thursday.
We went through Manchester by the Sea, got that nice little scenic view along Gloucester as we came back.
Who else has a farmer's market? Like
Magnolia?
Like a no,
Rockport?
like Stage Park.
We have to-
Ah.
Like a-
Oh, with the
Oh,
view.
yeah.
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 They got music playing in the gazebo.
Yeah, they usually have
Some young
entertainment
My
and
mom did that.
kids activities.
But
I don't know if she went, but
I bought some eggplants that are thin and long, not the typical fat ones, which were beautiful. I bought some guacamole. There's a guy there who sells
Yeah.
the fresh guac.
Guacamole
You
is
didn't
good.
get my go-to, and you have to get there early to get it. From A&J Bakery, they're from out of Salem. They sell that granola.
Yeah.
And it
I
sells
saw
out.
it.
It's
I saw
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
I buy 2 or 3 bags when I get there in time
Yeah.
and get it and just
Yeah.
mix it up with some yogurt or something.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
You know what those long eggplants are really good for? Is you slice them the lengthwise,
Yeah.
and then you can
Grill 'em.
make
Right.
well, you can roll
Rollatinis?
them. Rollatinis.
That's
So-
why
oh my God.
I didn't buy them specifically for that, but they're like zucchini, where they're just small enough where you can cut them up
Yeah.
and like saute them
Yeah.
like you would a zucchini. Because the big one, you can't really do that with the traditional.
The big fat one.
Chub-
Big
Chubbos.
bones, yeah.
It's just
You know Andy from Maitland Mountain Farm and his pickles.
The pickle guy, yeah.
Yeah, the pickle guy. Well, his new pickles. Have you tried those?
No.
The Cornichon Vin de Rosé. I mean,
really.
Vin de
We-
Rose,
we-
pickles.
Listen, we cannot have a pickle conversation with Lindsay Crouse in the room
Really?
because she makes
What?
the best pickles on
What?
on
I am
earth.
a pickle connoisseur. I love pickles.
What?
You bread and
Where
butter
can we
guy?
buy them?
What can I
Bread and
say?
butter?
Where's the pickles?
No, I like.
You
Yeah.
came here
garlic.
empty-handed?
Steel garlic.
Yeah, not.
It's
What kind
true
of pickle?
It's
because
the
is this?
pickles, her they
Okay.
the best pickles.
normally
Listen, no
I-
one has pimped her more than me throughout her career, and I come. She comes here empty-handed.
Hang on.
Empty
There's a
pickles.
reason.
Sans
There's a
pickles.
reason.
They're
There's a
still
reason.
pickling.
Okay, because I was in rehearsal in August, I did not get to pickle in August or even early September. I am chomping on the bit for tomorrow to go get my harvest from my own garden
Nice. from your
to
own
start
one.
pickling. But usually I have pickled by now, and everything is gone by Christmas, just completely wiped out.
Yeah. So where do I fall on the list this year for the gifting?
You know, Joey,
We're gonna have to have a one-off sidebar conversation.
but there's rhubarb jam, there's strawberry jam.
Oh, I've
blueberry
never-
jam.
I've never had that.
There's a list. There's a hierarchy. I've come to
Rhubarb jam,
realize.
strawberry jam. Never had that.
Nectarine chutney.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it goes on.
Nectarine chutney.
I know.
My husband is looking for shelf space in the kitchen by the end of October.
Well, I'll help you.
So now she's just rubbing our noses
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
We can't even find enough space in the house to store. We have so much, but yet we still won't bring Joey.
It's not even
any
that we're
fucking
giving it
rhubarb.
away. We just have so much.
Hoarders. She's a pickle hoarder.
Pickle hoarder.
Pickle hoarder. Lindsay Crouse, pickle hoarder.
It's coming across CNN.
You gotta stay humble, Joey. You gotta. Yeah, your day will come. What can I
You
say?
That's funny. It is,
Joey, I love you.
just quickly, pickling. I was, where was I? In the building center, and they were selling pickling vinegar, I guess. And I've always wanted to do some pickling myself. I know it's not as easy as just buying the vegetables and
It's a
pouring.
science. Yeah,
It
it's
is?
science. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to be a little bit of a scientist to pickle, and then you also have to have a little,
imagination.
Yes.
Little
Yeah.
pizzazz.
Yeah,
Little
little
pizzazz.
this, little
Okay.
that.
A new one this year for me is herb jelly. There's one that's made with Earl Grey tea, which is extraordinary, and thyme and sage. So now we've been growing herbs in our garden that are a little bit different, like
Joe's mouth's
lavender,
watering.
verbena. So we're going to try and make jelly out of those. Anyway, we're branching out. We're getting
Wow.
excited. So Joey, you know what?
I gotta wipe the drool off my.
Everyone here is on the list now. You're on the list.
Thank
Do
you.
you sell it or is it
I don't
more
sell
gift?
Well, she needs the money. She definitely needs the money. So if things don't work out at the the law and order residuals don't work out, then maybe she.
Well, she does work at Gloucester Stage, so
Right. So that's a black
Well,
hole.
she needs the money for the booze if she can spend it, obviously. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I don't know,
All
this
that
is-
money could be going towards jam. That's what it
Jam.
is. Yeah.
All right, quickly, just recap when the play is playing till and when they can buy tickets.
The Lifespan of a Fact is running through September 22nd. Performances are Wednesday through Saturday at 7:30 and Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. We have talkbacks after the remaining Sunday shows, which are free, and you just come at like 3:30, and when the show's out, you go into the theater. And then we have on the 15th, we have the movie, the Fisherman's Wife movie, which will be terrific too. So there's something going on every night. Youth program starts September 13th.
Okay, GloucesterCast 356 is in the books. Thanks for coming, everybody.